And as President Bola Tinubu reaches the milestone of 1 year in office as Nigeria's elected president, there are varying opinions on the anti-graft rating of his administration. This special report takes a look at the successes, shortcomings, and evolving path shaping the narrative surrounding the president's fight against financial and economic crimes in the country.
When President Tinubu clinched power in 2023, he promised to fight corruption by focusing more on preventive measures, applying the strategy of effective redistribution of wealth in the country to reduce the temptation to commit corruption. But 1 year down the line, critics say it is a decision that will never see the light of the day. Just few months into the new government, Tinubu's appointees were already caught napping, allegedly dipping their hands into public funds meant for the vulnerable and defenseless Nigerians.
You look around the things that have happened in the National Assembly recently in terms of the allegations of budget padding and the money that was distributed to them for palliatives. That will not talk to you about that's not about an anti-corruption regime. And you look at even some of the decisions being made in the judiciary that really unravels the whole concept of justice, that you begin to ask whether these things have been properly done, and even issues around nepotism. There is really nothing to celebrate so far.
Promised to leverage on the already existing institutions to carry out his anti-corruption battles, particularly the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and the Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB, as the lead agencies. The magnitude and dimensions of graft may be way far from what Tinubu may have imagined. Even the anti-corruption crusaders themselves admit as much, pointing to a fact that the complex, intricate web in the banking sector has been the major enabler of all manners of financial crimes in the country, and worry on how bank operations can truly be sanitized.
We have evidence to show that they are not doing their work, in the sense that the people not doing their work is the Senate. Because when the office do their report and send to the Senate, we are not seeing any action being taken.
While some contend that the president's action on some reported corruption cases, like the suspension of the country's Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, has demonstrated that he wouldn't turn a blind eye to such financial scandals, which reportedly occurred under the past administration. Others believe the risk of alienating his political associates is one of the huge prices Tinubu will pay to fight corruption. The image and public perception of the manner of what is being viewed as the selective deployment of machinery of state on persons in the economic and financial crimes war is already casting a shadow on the credibility of the fight. The president, who wears the badge of a Democrat, may also need to accept the tag of a dictator as being propagated by kingsmen and associates of Godwin Emefiele, the embattled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, currently standing trial on multiple corruption and financial crimes cases.
It's not surprising that his countless charges, they started with 1, 2, is becoming what the number of charges and the number of allegations they're bringing is beginning to look a little bit ridiculous. I had expected them to take their time, find out what he has done wrong, and then bring him before the law courts. That you are charging Emefiele to court doesn't say anything. Was he the only person who was part of the Buhari?
Its report placed Nigeria on the 150th position among 180 countries in the 2022 ranking released in January 2023. Seen as an improvement in ranking, even though its score of 24 out of 100 points was the same as it was in the previous year when the country was ranked 154th. The negative perception index needs to be worked on by better strengthening institutions started with the responsibility to fight corruption.
President Tinubu has not left anyone in doubt that the days of stealing our common patrimony is over. It is left for critical key players, especially the federal and the state lawmakers, to support the current administration to disarm corrupt elements from further impoverishing the nation.
2 months ago, they came and said they were going to implement the Onyinye report. Now, if you do a simple Google search, you see that former President Buhari said the same thing. Former President Goodluck Jonathan said the same thing. Him too, he has come here and said the same thing. They even give themselves a timeline. They have exceeded the timeline by over 8 weeks and nothing has been done.
What has napped Nigeria's journey to greatness is corruption, through the violent rape of resources for personal greed. Social commentators argue that much as the country is blessed with natural endowments and enormous human resources, leadership has continued to dim the bright prospects for growth. Like they say, when criminals go unpunished and the long arm of the law shortened for offenders to escape justice, the society suffers irreversibly. Amaka Okoro, AIT News, Abuja.